Wow, isn't that amazing? Hi, Mom. She's going to watch the 11 o'clock service. She didn't want to get up too early, so. Well, what a privilege. Thank you, Pastor Darrell, for allowing me to speak and share my testimony, because I tell you, God's brought me through a lot of stuff. And I started out my first talk this morning, and I just want to say what an honor it was to serve. But look at this. We're all here peacefully worshiping. You know, I've been in countries where I couldn't even bring my Bible, and we had to have services in private, you know, hiding away just so that we would be safe. So it is an honor to live in this amazing country. Just love America. So yay. And Miss Dent, thank you for these. They are really, really nice. So, okay, so I'm going to start out, and I want to share my life verse with you. It's 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verses 3 and 4. Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of mercies and God of all comfort, who comforts us in all our tribulation, that we may be able to comfort those who are in any trouble with the comfort with which we ourselves are comforted by God. Now, that has proven true my entire life, and I'll get into a couple of things, but when I was doing my research for this, looked up the definition of comfort, and the definition I like the best says comfort means coming alongside with strength. You saw that earlier. That's what we do. So just like an onion, strength and faith are developed in layers. After serving for 30 years, I've got a few layers. And some adventures. We had some fun yesterday telling some war stories around, and I got the guys laughing pretty good. So I'm going to give you guys another giggle today. Y'all haven't heard this one. So, but perhaps the foundational layer of strength and faith came when my little brother, Kenny, committed suicide at the age of 13. There are no words that can describe how you feel when someone you love so much makes such a horrible decision. So think about that. Now, the 2021 National Veteran Suicide Prevention Annual Report states that 17.2 veterans commit suicide every day. Think about that. And we're here free and safe. And those struggles, that PTSD, we're going to talk about that because that's gone. That's gone. So not long after Kenny died, my boss calls me up and he's like, you need to get your gear. You're leaving in about 4 hours. You're going to Djibouti. It exists. It is. I don't recommend it as a vacation place. It really is not a nice place to be, or it wasn't back then. So anyway, so here's the funny story. So we're geared up, and it took us about 8 days to get to where we were supposed to be. So, you're going, and you've done this. You go from one airport to another, military base, planes and planes. No hot meals, no showers, couldn't change clothes, so I was pretty stinky. And we actually landed in Mogadishu, and some of y'all have heard of Mogadishu before, I'm sure. It was in the time of the famine and when all the battles and stuff were going on. And anyway, so I weighed about 105 pounds back then. I'm a little heavier now. But my rucksack weighed 90 pounds. So it was almost as heavy as I was. And so we land in Mogadishu, and we're under fire. They were shooting at us, and so they're wanting us to move cover by cover formation to get off the airfield. And so I'm tough, I can do anything better than a guy, for sure. So anyway, I got to go down the ladder, boom, I lost my balance. Like this. Sprawled on the ground, legs and arms in the air. Couldn't roll, it was like a turtle. That was my nickname for that deployment. So anyway, 4 Marines, I love my Marines, 4 Marines come running out from undercover. Each one grabs a limb, drag me off. And I'm yelling, I'm okay, I'm not shot. But yeah. It was pretty embarrassing because here at that time, believe it or not, I was the only female at Mogadishu in the military. The only other one was a CNN reporter. So I was really embarrassed because, that's not the impression I wanted to make. So anyway, when we finally got to Djibouti, that was where we were supposed to be, there's a good bit of unrest, and the people were not very happy to have us there. So we had to implement a lot of different security measures for safety. We had to change the time that the bus left every day so that they couldn't predict when we'd leave. And, just stuff like that. Well, so one morning I walked out and the bus was leaving. And the crowd was already there throwing rocks and sticks and everything. And they saw me and they got me. So if you can imagine, this crowd of people pushing, shoving me, hitting me, taking my hat off, trying to get my uniform off. I was really, really scared. And that's not a strong enough word. So I just knew, I'm like, oh my God, God, I don't want to die. I don't want to die, and I don't want my mom to lose another kid. So I noticed these things seem like they take forever when it's only minimal seconds, but notice the crowd started to quiet down a little bit, and and I'm huddled over, and this man comes up and puts his arm around me. And he's like, would you like to go back in the hotel? Maybe? Just yes, I would. Yes, thank you. He was a negotiator, so he was one of the negotiators between the warlords and stuff. And he said he was fed up because that day his best friend of 16 years and his driver had been killed that morning, and he was fed up and he was leaving. And so he was dressed in this white, it's one of those long French suits. That's the only way I can describe it, with the long coat and everything. And he walks me in and sits me down inside the hotel. A couple seconds after that, the manager comes over and is like, are you okay? And I'm like, I think so. I said, I really want to thank the man that brought me in and saved me. And he's like, what are you talking about? You came in by yourself. There was nobody with you. So think about that, and never, ever doubt that God hears your prayers. Never doubt it. So once again, I think of the word comfort, coming alongside with strength. It's exactly what God did in a tangible, physical way to save me. It was amazing. That was a very strong layer of faith that he has built on over the years. So not long after that, I was selected to go to physician assistant school, and you did get it right, yeah. And, we had, that was an adventure in itself. I was telling the guys some fun stories about, my learning slang was very entertaining. And I actually served as a youth, with the youth, and I had the unfortunate privilege of walking my youth group through one of our kids committed suicide. And I had the privilege of walking alongside them and helping them through that, and the older sister of the young man who killed himself, because I'd been through that same thing. So I was able to comfort them and her. So in 2008, I deployed to a little place you might have heard of called Afghanistan. Believe it or not, I was with a forward surgical team that was supporting the Green Berets. So little medic here, out with the Green Berets. And let me tell you, those guys are unbelievable. They are amazing. So give our hands up for our Green Berets and our Special Operations Forces. So it was not a fun time. I'll just say it was very kinetic. We lost several men one night at another fob that we supported, and part of my job was to escort our died of wounds and killed in action. I had to fill out the paperwork and everything and make sure they were taken care of with honor. It was a privilege, and it was probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. There is no way I could have done that if I didn't have God standing beside me, walking me through that. There's no way. I won't go into too many details, but when you're deployed, you really get close. You know, they become your brothers and your sisters, and you get very, very close to the people you're deployed with because there's really nothing else to do. Kind of sit there, watch TV all day, and then you have brief moments of insanity when all the bombs are going off, and then hours and hours of nothing. So I got really, really close to this guy. He was one of the Apache pilots, and experiences that veterans live through. I know it's hard to relate, unless you're like a first responder or a fellow veteran. But this is kind of one of those situations. I was eating breakfast with Brent that morning, and he had a 2-year-old little girl he was showing me pictures of, and she was just so cute, little blonde hair, and she running around, "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy," you know. And 3 hours later, I was having to identify his body. And he had been completely burned. He was actually still smoking and burning when they brought him to me. His dog tags it was so hot, his dog tags actually melted through his chest. So, some things that we wish we had never seen. But God was there every moment. So you think, what comfort could I have possibly gotten in that moment? That morning when Brent and I were talking, he told me that Jesus Christ was his Savior. So I know I'll see him again, and I know his daughter and his family will be okay, you know. So I've brushed over a few things. I've had PTSD for a very long time. I don't like crowds, and I shouted out to Joan. She's walked me through some. This is a lot of people for me. So, but I had so many nightmares, and I was up to a point in my life that I was having about 17 nightmares a night. And, no sleep, just exhausted, and everything just comes at you. And if you've ever had PTSD or those horrible nightmares, you know what I'm talking about. It's not easy. But guess what? I am now 2 months without a single nightmare. Yes. I can't tell you how, it's just amazing when you get delivered from something like that, and you can, wow, I slept 10 hours the other day, and I was like, what happened? So I just love it. It's amazing to come through that battle and, to be on this side of it. So if you're struggling with that battle, come talk to me. I'll help you through it. I'll be your wingman. To close out, faith does not come easily. Strength does not come easily. Talk to your bodybuilders. How long did they work to become that strong and that fit? Last week, Pastor Brian said, don't raise the white flag during a battle. I completely agree. As you walk through each adventure on your journey of faith, know that God is always with you, beside you, before you, behind you, and within you. He can hold you up when you can't stand any longer. God bless you.